Good day, everyone. My name is Oluwafumilola Feyitola Ojediro, and I'm here to talk about the human immunity. I would like to talk about the objective of presentation. The objective of presentation are as follows: the first and the second line of defense, the third line of defense, acquire immunity, self-recognition, and tolerance, specific immune system disorder. Categories of acquired immunity: immune response to vaccination, the concept of herd immunity, and vaccination programs, and factors affecting immune system. I'm going to be talking about presenting each slide and with a little bit of explanation. And here we have the defenses, why it is necessary, why hand defense is necessary in infection. In an infection happen when pathogens, that is the bacteria, viruses, and the fungi, when it goes into the body. And in this slide, we're going to be like talking about the bacteria, talk about the virus, and at the same time talk about the parasites. What do we mean by bacteria? Bacteria are single celled prokaryotic cells that are responsible for illness such as strep throat, urinary tract infection, and tuberculosis, that is TB. While we have in virus are smaller, that viruses are smaller than bacteria and are not alive. They rely on finding hosts within the body to reproduce. They, they, cause, they cause a variety of diseases from the common cold to HIV, AIDS. And the parasites, so, and parasites are the causes of transmissible conditions such as malaria from mosquito bites, and at times all other parasites can be transformed from animal feces to human. We have the fungi. Fungi is responsible for surface for surface skin conditions such as athletic foot, and can also appear in lungs or nervous system. There are different types of transformation. We have the direct contacts and we have the indirect contact, and we have the insect bite. Direct contact is when someone touch someone that has an infection or disease directly, while the indirect one is when you contact it through something someone has touched, like someone that has been infected has touched someone, and you get an infection from such person. That is the indirect one. And the insect bite is the one that you get through either by mosquito after being bitten someone, and through that process from one person to another. So we moving on to the next slide, which is slide 4, which is showing us the human body and the vital organs, which have different line of defenses to protect itself. And you know so here we have the we have the pathogens, we have the body's organs, which the respiratory tract, mucous lining in nose and lungs. We have the skin, we have the specific, we have the microphysics and the um, cytokines and all of that. So when we this here we're going to be talking on how the first line of defense. The first line of defense is where we get the epidermis. We have the epidermis, which is the outer layer of the skin, while the dermis is the middle layer of the skin, and this is limited and contains blood vessels, nerves ending, and hair follicles. And the layer of the skin is mainly made up of fats, connective tissue, large blood vessels, and all of that. So um, we've got the first line of defense: physical barriers, chemical barriers, and biological barriers. This slide 5. Yeah, in this slide 4, this is showing us the mucous membrane too. I think I've mentioned that in the diagram, and the mouth, nose, and the GI, respiratory tract, and the rest, vaginal tract, and the urogenital. The second line of defense is the mucous membrane, which covers different parts of the body to protect the body and from pathogen entering the body. The job of the mucous membranes is to filter out and prevent infectious agents, allergens, and pathogens from entering the body. Instead of the white blood cell, we have the lymphocytes, we have the innate cells, where under it we have the one that produces inflammatory chemicals and digestive pathogen, and under the lymphocytes we have the active lymphocytes multiple, that is the memory cell, effector cell, long-lived and short-lived. That's the specific human, all comes under specific human. And the within the nerve, we can say that the mucous membrane over the surface of the mouth covers the surface of the mouth, the nose, the ears, and the eyes, the throat, the GI, that's the respiratory tract, and the urogenital and vaginal tract. Within the nasal cavities, there is a thick mucus which traps microorganisms before they enter the body through the airways. For any remaining particles, they are removed through sneezing, coughing, and blowing of the nose. But sometimes when you just sneeze and just see that you're just blowing out some things, these are some of the particles that are left over that need to just go out of the body system. And now we're moving on to the slide 6, which is the third line of defense and acquired human. When the skin gets injured or develops infections, the body reaction is to create the inflammatory response, dilation of blood vessel. We have the inflammation, then um, we have the the inflammation is the largest blood cells and extra proteins that can often make the injury warmer to the touch and sometimes painful, and this is because of inflammation. Inflammation is vital to the healing process and isolate the injury from being able to spread. So when there is foreign body, the body sends large white blood cells called phagocytes to the area to consume these foreign bodies. They can be accompanied at times by other proteins called cytokines to help remove foreign particles. Hemoglobins, as we have different types of hemoglobins, we have the hemoglobin G, we have the E, we have we have the we have the M, we have the A, and we have we have we have the M hemoglobin, and what this does is that this is made up of four chains that tend to be arranged in a Y shape and tend to be made of two heavy and two light chains. Each hemoglobin have varying polypeptides formation to allow them to function in a unique way by defending the immune response required. Then hemoglobin G, the most common one, that's the most common one, and it will stimulate the attack on anything that poses a risk or danger in the body. The hemoglobin A defends the part of the body that requires a mucous surface, such as inside the mouth or nose. Then hemoglobin M is made up of five monomer hemoglobins, which then creates a pentamer, and is the first one out of the other hemoglobins that encounter an antigen. I want us to take note of this one. The hemoglobin A reacts and responds to allergic reaction and also parasite infection. Hemoglobin D is an act as an antigen receptor for B cell. The self-recognition and tolerance is the body way to tell apart itself and non-self. The immune system is able to achieve this through antigens, and our body includes self makers on our cells that tells the immune system to leave them alone. So these are some of the things that helps mostly when we talked about the self-recognition and tolerance in the body, and how the immune system is able to achieve its way through antigen. When you looked at it, it states at the same time that the level of immune system response can vary, and the immune system does not have a set of consistent level of response to foreign antigens. So therefore, if an antigen is similar to one of that immune system which has been before, the response level will be lower or weaker. Whereas if the antigen has never been seen before, the response level will be higher and stronger. So there are many different types of autoimmune disorder. We have the rheumatoid arthritis, type 1 diabetes, and we have the psoriatic multiple lupus. All of these are part of the disorder types of autoimmune disorders. We have the acute one, we have the chronic one, then we have the hyperacute. which are all the three types of rejection that we have in this immune system. And we have the different type of autoimmune disorder, which I've just said, that we have the type 1 diabetes, we have the rheumatoid arthritis, and how those ones form the when you have the swollen legs, and it's like you have like a flu or something like it's swollen, then that is the rheumatoid arthritis. And when you have constant visit to toilet, like you just go to wee, and these are some of the signs and symptoms of the type A diabetes. And it's for the fourth type of hypersensitive, that's the type A diabetes, which, you know, it's a chronic and longer term autoimmune disorder and happen when the immune system attacks the body cell that produce insulin. Some symptoms of the types can be like what I said earlier: excessive thirst, like when you just keep going into the toilet, frequent urination, and excessive weight loss. Unfortunately, when you develop one autoimmune disorder, you are at a higher likelihood to develop other ones. The reason behind that is not known to us, but it comes along with, it goes along that way, that when you have high blood pressure, you could cause along with diabetes, and just like that, all these things work together. And it's so difficult. Having a blood test is more effective, and that's the only way you can detect that you have these symptoms. And as A1 disorder can attack more than one place in the body, there is no cure for an autoimmune disorder. So the focus is on managing and treating the symptoms and being able to keep the disorder under control. Immune response and vaccination. We know vaccination protect the body, individual and body from various diseases, and these diseases still do exist. Like years back, we have between the year 1940 and 2017, there were quite a range of measles, polio affecting children, and it was like a lot of the increase in deaths and all of that. So the help of vaccination, brought this down. And when it got to 2017, it was like zero to none, like 4% of of death cases after the vaccine has been like it's been effective. People have been like taking vaccination and just to prevent themselves, and that reduces a lot of sickness, and that helps the NHS as well in this cause, and that helps everyone to be vaccinated. So it's the herd immunity. When most members of population become immune, an infectious disease either or power. That's what I just said earlier. When everybody gets vaccinated, it reduces the risk of diseases or whatever. It's reduces the risk of death, and it's better to be vaccinated to prevent it rather than to to let it get worse and you start treating it off. Vaccination program affecting vaccine uptake. That is the one I've just talked about, how the NHS has really helped, as in helped in getting the vaccine all around to everyone.